That won't stand up in court.
All right, and we're back.
And we're back.
Hi, and welcome to the third episode of Stone Cold Killers. This is a show hosted by Chandler and Max, where we tell you a story about a famous killer while high.
Stone Cold Killers.
We're already high.
Yeah.
Max, I have a female killer for you today.
My favorite.
I'm very excited.
They've taken the lead.
I don't know what we're going to call this episode yet, but it's about the Lonely Hearts Killer. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Have you ever? Okay, so
I thought that was a joke. I honestly
No.
thought,
Her name, her real
action
name
was off.
is Nancy Hazel, but she goes as Nannie Doss. And the papers end up calling her a few different nicknames. So she's originally the Lonely Hearts Killer. She is the Giggling Granny and Black Widow.
Out of nicknames, though,
Pretty good.
the one that stuck is like, that's a good serial killer name.
Yeah, the Lonely Hearts. Do you know what the Lonely Hearts Club is?
No.
Okay, so
That's why I thought you were making a joke.
No, I didn't know what this was.
Catching up.
So back in like the 10s, 20s, 30s, there was a part of the newspaper, an article that was called the Lonely Hearts pages, and people would post basically ads in there looking for like girlfriends and boyfriends.
Desperately seeking Susan.
Yeah, it was like a Tinder for back then. So
Nothing ever changes.
I didn't even know that was a thing, but I haven't seen a newspaper since I was maybe 7.
Flip it up. That's good trivia. That's good knowledge.
Yeah, so she's also been proclaimed a self-made Black Widow, just so everyone knows. So that should give you indication of what the story, what happens. So,
What
always happens?
Not again.
No, but that's what her family's gonna be saying this whole time.
Oh.
Nannie, no! So Nannie was born in Blue Mountain, Alabama, which is now known as Anniston, Alabama. I know where it is because it's close to where I grew up. So this story is about an Alabama girl who really just did some queen shit, killing people. She was one of 5 children. She was one of 4 girls, and then they had a brother. And it's said that growing up, she fucking hated her dad. He was
daddy issues.
Yeah, major daddy issues.
What you might say.
When she was 7, she was riding on a train with her family, and the train like stopped too quick or something, and she fell forward and busted her head on a metal bar in front of the seat. And for years after that, she suffered from blackouts, migraines. She would just like pass out suddenly. So she blames a lot of her mental problems later on to that accident.
They say that's one of the things everybody has, the head injury.
Which it is true, a lot of killers. And now I think like my older brother had a major head
Oh
injury
my God.
when we were younger. He hit his head in a car wreck.
Now he's turned that tragedy into a success story.
Into a success story. Her father was super controlling, and some of the things he did, he made his kids leave school halfway through the year because he's a farmer and they had to work on the farm, so they never got like a good education.
Sure.
So she blamed her dad. So she was born in 1905 and died in 1965, but her active years as a killer is between 1920 and 1950.
Gotcha.
So once she hits puberty, she's like, let's get some business going.
I bet we could plug it into the computer. Do female serial killers averagely have a longer killing span than
so.
like males? Males are always like, gotta get the numbers out.
I also think, and I could be wrong about this too, but I feel like women, it's because they're like patient when they kill. They don't just like go on a killing spree.
And no one suspects.
That's another true thing.
Which is wild in the sense of like, your defense could be like, I'm a woman. I wouldn't kill them.
So she ends up working on the farm all the time. Her dad's super controlling. And then her dad also wouldn't let his daughters dress provocatively, So I guess just showing you skin. He wouldn't let him wear makeup. He wouldn't let him read romance novels, which she loved. And he said this would all lead to them getting molested, which is why, yeah, he wouldn't let him do anything. And he was super control. He wouldn't let him go to dances at school. So strict father, head injury, and then she kind of rebelled because she loved romance novels because she wasn't allowed to read them.
Very unique.
Oh, also, her mom died. So she's sad. Like, her dad, it's just her dad, so.
You think the dad's doing a little touchy-touchy?
Maybe. It's possible. I think, which it doesn't say this, I think it sounds like an abusive, single, alcoholic father.
Sure.
So.
Eccentric drunk.
Yeah. So, by the time she was 16, she got a job in a factory and met this guy named Charlie Braggs. And, yeah, he's not with Braggs apple cider vinegar. I thought he would have, but he wasn't. This is Alabama, you have to remember.
Braggs, it's every other street corner.
Is it really?
No.
Oh. So, after 4 months of dating, they get married. She's 16.
Too soon.
Yeah, it is too soon. So she moves in with him. Turns out he's got substance abuse problems, and they live with her mother-in-law, who basically ruins her life. I think it's like a monster-in-law situation. She limits their activities.
She's had a rough go at it so far.
Yeah, it's
this young one.
Everyone's controlling her. Like, she finally got away from her controlling dad, and now she has a controlling mother-in-law who, like, won't let her do shit. And basically just, like, treats her son like he's the best. So they're married from 1923 to 1927. And within that time, they have 4 daughters.
Just popping them.
Yeah, for real. I'm like, ooh, busy girl.
Busy.
So by the time she's like 24, I think 24, she got a lot of kids. No, 21. Anyway, there's some infidelity shit going on. Oh. They're both guilty.
Oh.
It's a bad marriage.
That's a bad marriage.
2 of their daughters died. The middle 2 daughters.
Back in the day.
So it doesn't really say why they died, but
because it was the early 1900s.
Yeah, and they're like babies.
And they're just like, sorry, he fell in another pool.
So Charlie and Nannie get in a fight eventually, and Charlie leaves and takes the oldest daughter. And Nannie's just like, shit, I'm a single mom now. I gotta figure out my life. So she goes, gets a job, starts taking care of the youngest baby. Charlie comes back, got a new girlfriend, dumps the kid off, and he says he's scared of Nannie, so they get a divorce. So now she's divorced, 2 kids.
No life.
This is 1928 at this time. She's young, she's feeling fresh, 2 daughters, trying to figure out what to do. She meets a man named Robert Franklin Harrelson, and she marries him in 1929. So she was only single like a couple months.
Girls gotta eat.
Impressive. Months later, she discovers that he's an alcoholic and has a criminal assault record.
There's a through line here.
Yeah, so even though Robert's a piece of shit and they moved to Florida, from Alabama to Florida, she ends up staying with him for 16 years. Yeah, they don't have any more kids.
Bet she put up with some shit.
Yeah, so he was drunk, he was gone a lot. So her oldest daughter, Melvina, in 1943, has a little girl. So she's got her daughters in Florida with her. Her oldest one's at this point having kids. She ends up having 2 babies. And this is when things started to get a little suspicious. So, the second baby, Melva's like drugged out because she's just giving birth. And she sees she sees Nannie in the corner with the new baby. And she says that she sees her put a hat pin in the baby's head. Right? So she calls her husband and her younger sister and she tells them what she saw. And they're like, no, Nannie told us the baby was dead. Like, the baby died. So the baby's fucking dead. And they just said that
Oh my God.
Yeah. And she's like, I think she killed the baby. And they're like, no. Gravy. Grandma Nannie would have never done that. But yeah. And also they found a hat pin on Nannie. So, but they were like, you just imagined it. Melvina gets divorced. So she has the 2 kids. One dies. She gets divorced and starts dating a soldier. And Nannie hates it. She's starting to get miserable with life. She fucking hates this shit. So one night, Nannie is chilling in the baby's room, babysitting while Melvina's on a date. And this is very confusing, but Nannie's husband is named Robert, but then also her grandchild, the little baby's name is Robert. So there's 2 Roberts.
Okay, I'm with you.
The baby dies of asphyxiation, and everyone's like, what happened? She's like, I don't know, but he's dead. That's in July 7th. So she collects insurance on the baby that died.
Suspect.
Suspicious.
There's a little paper trail on that.
I think her husband died too, though.
Who gets a clothespin in their head?
The baby.
I thought that was from asphyxiation.
Yeah,
that was the diagnosis. Okay.
She kills both of the babies.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now we're on the same page.
Yeah, hat pin and asphyxiation.
Baby's gone.
Yeah, babies are gone. Then randomly Robert dies. Her husband. She collects insurance on Robert too. So 2 babies dead.
Yeah, with
Robert's dead.
Now that goes into like the weird. I know nothing about the life insurance. Life insurance, death insurance. What's it called? Life insurance policy.
Yeah.
It just seems like even if you did that with good intentions, doesn't that like automatically make you a suspect when you're like?
Well, I would not want to be a life insurance agent because I would suspect everyone. I'd be like, you're gonna kill.
Do you have a will?
Yeah.
No.
Can you take out life insurance on anyone?
There's a bum over there.
I just start taking life insurance out on like all my friends, and everyone's like, wait a second.
And then we realize Chelsea's been missing for 6 months.
She has.
Yeah.
Nannie's single again. She got about 3 deaths under her belt.
Yeah.
She's a crazy granny at this point. So she decides she wants to leave Florida. She's done with all the sadness down that she's basically brought on herself. And she gets on the Lonely Hearts column in Lexington, North Carolina, and meets this guy named Arlie Lanning.
Good name. I like the name so far.
And 3 days after meeting him on the Lonely Hearts, she marries him.
Oh, I thought you were going to say went missing. What? That's even, marriage is even crazier.
Yeah. So, turns
3 days?
out, 3 days. It's like, wife wanted, and she's like, I'm here, baby. I don't even think she had a house there yet.
Yeah, that's
one way to get a house.
Marrying someone in 3 days.
Yeah, that you meet on a wanted ad.
Yeah.
So, turns out Arlie is do you know? There's a trend in the string of men she's married. Arlie is
an abusive
alcoholic. Arlie is a
God.
womanizer.
Oh.
And an alcoholic.
Well.
Yeah. So this is like the 4th man in her life that's just an abusive person.
What? Yeah.
And also, up until now, people don't know she's a murderer.
True. Again, just moving a couple miles away from wherever you murdered the person.
But actually,
like it would never come back to you. Just one district over. They just don't talk to each other.
No one knows.
Yeah.
She left her kids too. Yeah. She's like, gotta go. Mama's gotta find a new husband. Yeah. Get this insurance money to start a new life. Well, that's the thing too. If you get the insurance money, then like if they're still investigating it and you just leave back in the 1940s, they're not gonna find you. You got the money and you ran. Nannie in North Carolina starts playing this role of like a doting housewife, even though her husband's a piece of shit and like sleeps around and drinks and stuff. She just pretends everything's fine, and like everyone in their town loves her, and she just pretends like everything's good. Turns out Arlie, within a few months of them being married, I don't know why it's funny, he dies of heart failure.
I don't know why that is funny. Just a coincidence. I want to know who forced the 3-day marriage. Was it him?
Yeah.
Was it her?
It's her.
It's her. Even, I mean, I don't know.
And then he dies.
So of a heart failure.
It's definitely a heart attack, but I don't know how. How do you force that on someone?
Scare, just a joke.
So Lanning's mom she's back in that same sitch where she's living with a dude and his mom. So Arlie Lanning dies. Then, mysteriously, Arlie's mom dies in her sleep.
This also goes to the last thing with Jolly Jane, just like, oh, there's so many dead bodies where it could be like, yeah, how many of them are there around you before someone has to be like, hey, everyone.
And you're not even a little sick?
Yeah.
Like, at least, like, fake, like, get a little sick.
I know.
You know? Take a life insurance policy out on yourself, girl.
Maybe cover the bases.
So, no shocker, she had a life insurance policy on him, too.
An abusive
and
drunk. Watch out.
I know. And then...
Do we even feel bad for him?
Their fucking house burns down, mysteriously.
Did they have a fire policy?
Yeah, they did.
Really?
They had a house insurance policy.
It's like the richest woman in the world. Is this Jeff Bezos?
Yeah, I think that's just how she lives and goes from place to place. And then when she starts running out, she's like, all right, gotta commit some kind of crime. Gotta commit some crimes. So she leaves North Carolina when she collects the money. So again, no one's really on to her yet. Then she meets a man named Richard Morton in Jamestown, North Carolina. So she only went a few cities away. Yeah. She married him in 1952 after they met. They met through a dating service called Diamond Circle Club. So that's Lonely Hearts Club, Diamond Circle Club. Right. If you remember, she was obsessed with romance novels when she was a kid, so she's like trying to find that true romance, but girlfriend keeps marrying alcoholics, and then she's like, I'm ridding you from the earth. He was adulterous, but not a drinker. So step up. He did cheat, but he wasn't abusing an alcoholic.
Living and learning.
So Nannie's mom comes to visit. I thought she died, and I said it at the beginning, but I think I was too high. Apparently she's alive.
I remember you saying that she might have been dead early on.
But I'm so high, I think I mixed her up with Jolly Jane last week.
Just confusing.
I'm
Week span time.
Well, her mom's alive at this point, but she comes to live with her and then she dies.
The subtitle, like, just so we're clear.
And then she dies.
Okay.
So she's dead at this point, yeah.
Did she have the life insurance policy taken out of her?
Yes!
Dude, this girl is just ballsy. Like, not... that was a weirder than normal. That was the first one was like the weirdest.
Scary.
Yeah.
That scream was scary.
I didn't like that at all.
So, Nannie's mom dead. Insurance money pocketed. May 19th, 1953. She poisons her husband Richard Morton. Takes out more money. So this is like a lot of insurance policies at this point.
That's it. I'm saying like that goes to, again, we don't know.
She's already killed 3 out of her 4 husbands and their mothers.
Yeah.
And grandchildren and now her own mother. So she's getting pretty, like at this point, you're running out of family to take out life insurance policies on. Ooh, too many murders in North Carolina. I gotta go. She moves to Oklahoma.
Hey guys, so we're currently editing this episode and turns out the monitor cut off and stopped recording and we were so stoned we didn't realize it, so we don't have the climax of the story. I'm gonna give it to you really quick. Nannie marries a minister named Samuel Doss from Tulsa, Oklahoma in June 1953. So she got married within the month of her last husband dying. And he was a minister and hated her beloved romance novels, which pissed her off. In September, 3 months after they were married, he got super sick with a digestive tract infection. And
gotta get that track healthy.
Yeah, and so he goes to the hospital, and he's in there a week, and they revive him. He goes home, and then all of a sudden he gets sick again and dies within like 5 days. So the doctors are like, this is suspicious. You are on the road to recovery. So they do finally, thank God, someone does an autopsy, and he had arsenic in his system. And he had 2 life insurance policies taken out on him by Nannie. So they arrest her, and she confesses to all the killings. She pleaded guilty in May 17th, 1955, and she got life imprisonment because they just ruled her as insane. And she only was charged with Sam's death because it was in the state of Oklahoma. So she technically was never charged with the other.
And we still don't know how life insurance policies work.
We don't know how life insurance policies work. Nannie died of leukemia 10 years into prison, so.
No remorse. She didn't have a lot of remorse going on.
Lonely Hearts. What is that? Owner of a lonely heart.
I don't know.
Okay. Enjoy the last clip of this. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
I'm so slow.
I know.
I thought it was gonna wear off within 30 minutes.
It's been 40.
Thank you for watching another episode of
Stone Cold Killers. Bye.